Deathwatch Vanguard Veterans are elite melee specialists equipped with deadly precision and deep understanding of alien anatomies. Armed with jump packs, combat blades, and high-impact weaponry, they excel in swift, brutal strikes against xenos foes. Whether leading a concerted charge or operating independently, these fearless warriors ensure the Deathwatch's dominance in close quarters combat. Hello my friends, my name is Max, and today we're doing something really fun. Some time ago I was able to take into my possession this very old, as you can see by these cracks over here, books of Deathwatch Vanguard Veterans. They are so old, they are not even in the Codex of 9th edition anymore. I think they were retired some time ago. However, they look so cool, I couldn't stop myself from trying to acquire them, and today we're gonna build one of these old chaps. And these, as you can see, are Firstborn Space Marines with jump packs. That's really cool. To the best of my knowledge, this box is from 2015-2016. This is what it says on the box over here, 2016. This is almost 10 years old, and I think it is even more because I'm pretty sure Vanguard Veterans are even older than that. Let's take a look at what we have in the box. I have opened it before, so no surprises here for me. However, what we see is 5 bases, as it should be, 2 sprues with all sorts of stuff for the Vanguard Veterans, and surprisingly no sprue for the Deathwatch part. I think the guy who was using these kits used the Deathwatch sprue before me. Anyways, I'm missing 2 things here. Over here, there is something missing here and something missing over here, and that is gonna be important. But other than that, the sprues are complete, and that is why I was happy to acquire them. We have instruction set for Vanguard Veterans. As you can see, we have all these options to build, including the Sergeant, and spoiler alert, this is gonna be the guy we're gonna be building. He is gonna look slightly different though. And these are how the old instructions look like. As you can see, no color, not a lot of fancy stuff. What I really like about older Deathwatch Space Marines is that you can assemble them in bulk. There are some bits that are interchangeable, and you're supposed to get 4 torsos and 4 jump packs here, not including the Sergeant, because the Sergeant has a little bit more stuff. Why I really love the Deathwatch kits, especially the old ones, is they have a lot of customization options. It's a lot of them. Different shoulder pads, different weapons options, and whatnot. It is really amazing, and we will benefit from it today, a bit later. And of course, we can see that there are multiple ways to assemble our lads. So apart from the Sergeant, that is gonna look somewhat like this, which is a normal Sergeant, we also can assemble a guy with a Thunder Hammer and a Storm Shield, a guy with the Lightning Claws, a normal guy with just a Chain Sword and a Bolter, and of course a guy with a Bolter and a Power Fist. We have a lot of these lads presented on the box. Over here they have different options, and by the way, this is an axe for the Blade Guard Veterans from the secret level. I totally missed I had that axe. Apparently I did have that axe. Next time we build Blade Guard Veterans from secret level, I'm gonna use this one. What is also really cool about this box is that they have signed all the weapons: Thunder Hammer, Storm Shields, Lightning Claws. I'm always mixing up Lightning Claws with something else, name-wise, Power Axe, Power Sword, and whatnot. Even the Chain Sword, for those who have no idea what it is. This is incredibly cool. A lot of options are shown here. I really love the old Deathwatch boxes. Press like if you're like me. Anyways, when we try to assemble the Sergeant, and this is gonna be the guy that we're gonna be building today, I really quickly noticed that number 35 is the Power Sword, and guess what? Number 35 is missing from my sprue. So the guy who used this kit before me took the sword, and I can understand him because this is a really cool sword. This is how it should look like. It is larger than the whole Space Marine. It is unbelievably cool. Okay, but yeah, we cannot use this sword. Technically, what we could use, these instructions over here, which are actually really helpful, they say that we can replace bolt pistol and or chainsword with one of the following: power weapon or lightning claw. So, and that is pretty much what was the case here. So it was a power weapon, and power weapon is replacing normally a chainsword. So I could go in the back direction and take the chainsword. However, I think for a sergeant, this is not gonna look really cool, right? What would be the next best option for this cool relic sword? Of course, another power sword. Let's take a look at these options. We have a bunch of chain swords, namely 5 of them here, and a power sword 22. Let's check it on a sprue. Guess what? Number 22 is also missing. The dude took all the power weapons from this kid. This is not good, right? So, what do we do with it? That means that we will have to do some modifications. Stay tuned until the end of the video, or just skip to the end of the video to see what I'm gonna be doing with this miniature. Anyways, let's not spoil everything from the beginning, and let's actually start building the guy. We start, as always, with the torso. In this case, you can see that the torso is supposed to be special. It is gonna be 6 and 11, and they don't allow us to replace 6 with any of those. It is supposed to be a very specific torso. I don't know why, but that is how they do it. Let's follow these instructions. It's gonna be number 6. I briefly thought of replacing the 6 with the torso from the Deathwatch sprue. However, it does not have the straps, and I think the straps are kinda important because the straps imply that you are wearing a jump pack. And by the way, this is our beat number 6. We also need a beat 11, and we have a lot of them. They are all exactly the same. This is beat 11 that we're gonna take. Let's see how my torso is supposed to be assembled. Should be along these lines. There we go. And now I understand why it was supposed to be this front part of the torso, because there are like laurels over here in front of it. So it is kind of more ornate for the sergeant. Let's glue it. Hence, this is our torso. Moving forward, we need to find legs number 1. This is beat number 1. Notice that all the beats that are for the sergeant marked with small s in front of the number. This is actually quite handy. I have cleaned up the legs. They look really cool. And I like that in this mini they don't use this plastic transparent stance, and he is just jumping on this tactical rock over here. Let's see how it should be combined. Should be somewhat like this. I am going to rotate him a little bit to his right, because he is gonna be charging with the power sword in his left arm. And I'm gonna glue him. I think this is our position over here. Looks very nice. Now to the funny part. We said that we would like to use something resembling a power sword. The closest thing that I could find among my beats was a Xenophase Blade. This thing from Deathwatch Veterans box. This is the one that the sergeant is holding here. Technically, I don't think this was very legal to use this kind of blade, but this is a weapon for the sergeant, and we are building a sergeant. The only difference is that we are building a Vanguard Sergeant instead of like a normal Veteran Sergeant. But anyways, there is no one here to stop me to use it, and that is why I will use it. We cannot really use this sword just out of the box because of 2 reasons. First of all, it is attached to a hand, so we will have to use a hand from this kit, from Deathwatch Veterans. And secondly, as you notice, this is a left hand, and here he is holding his sword in a right hand. I really hate this about Deathwatch Veterans kits, because in Vanguard Veterans, most of the melee weapons are in the right hand. And for normal Deathwatch Veterans, for usual ones, most of them are in the left hand, as you can see from this box. It's not a problem for Space Marines because they're ambidextrous, they can use equally well both arms. However, it poses a problem for us because now we will have to replace this really nice graph pistol with something else. And that is gonna be bolt pistol. Spoiler alert. But anyways, let's fix this hand first. We cannot really use the beat number 12 because this beat is supposed to end in this stomp, and we see that it doesn't work this way, so I suggest we take the whole arm from this kit, from Deathwatch Veterans. In order to do just that, let's see which beats are involved in this hand. And these are beats 48, which is the Xenophase Blade itself, and the hand 46. And that is what we're going to use from this kit, beat 48 and beat 46. I have cleaned up both parts of the arm. It is supposed to be assembled like this. I'm gonna glue it. I will give this arm some rest. And in the meanwhile, we will have to deal with another problem that we have just created. We cannot really use the graph pistol over here because the graph pistol clearly is supposed to be used from the left hand. And our Space Marine, as cool as he is, cannot have two left hands. That is why we will have to do something else. We will have to find a replacement weapon for him. For the right hand, one cool replacement weapon could have been this power fist over here. However, I would prefer to build another miniature with a power fist, and I would really love to have a ranged weapon of some sort. My other option would be to dig into my stockpile of bits and fish out something that is a ranged weapon for the right hand. I was unable to find anything suitable in the Deathwatch beats. That is why I opted for the Primaris Space Marines Intercessors. And guess what? One of them could be using this kind of hand with a bolt pistol. The modern kind of bolt pistol. I think it might be like a compact bolt pistol or something like that. Might have another name, but it is a bolt pistol for me. The hand is not much larger. I think, in fact, that it is almost the same size as the hand for Firstborn Space Marines. There will be, hopefully, not much of noticeable difference, and that is why I will use just these beats. And again, I'm pretty sure this is from generic Primaris Intercessors, and this is beat 61 from this sprue. And this is my hand with the bolt pistol. Let's compare this bolt pistol with the older looking bolt pistols. You can see that the new one is a bit smaller than the old ones, but it's still kinda bolt pistol. Let's see how it should be attached over here. It should be along these lines. I think it kinda looks incredibly cool this way. And I am going to glue it. And this is how it looks so far. Next, we're supposed to attach the second arm, but I think we will give some rests to the mini and actually proceed to the jump pack, built from beats 75 and 80. As you can see, these jump packs are kinda interchangeable, and they are being built from other beats. For the Sergeant, they are very specific. It should be this one with a huge eagle on top of it, beat 75. This is my beat 75. As you can see, it has an S, means Sergeant. And this is our beat 80. Let's see how the jump pack is supposed to be assembled. It should be along these lines. Looks incredibly cool. And now I am ready to glue this jump pack. And this is our jump pack. Looks really, really, really cool. I'm gonna give it some rest. Now let's see how the fancy arm should be attached to the torso over here. I think it is better to attach it like this, and I will have to remove a little bit of the shoulder over here. Let's see now. This is our position. Should be along these lines, like that, and I'm going to glue it. Gonna wait a couple of seconds for it to melt. And let's try to attach the arm. I think this is our position. Looks very, very, very cool. This sword is actually also quite long. Xenophase Blade. Alright. Now we need some shoulder pads and a head. They are suggesting us to use one of these, but these are for normal Vanguard Veterans, and we have Deathwatch Vanguard Veterans. That is why we're going to use the hat that is over here on the sprue for the Deathwatch. And by the way, this is exactly the one they are showing us on the box over here. And let's see how this hat is supposed to be sitting. Should be along these lines, I believe. And I'm going to glue it. Here we go. That looks really cool. Now we need shoulder pads. We cannot really use these shoulder pads because they are not Deathwatch compliant. For the left shoulder pad, we would need a Deathwatch shoulder pad, namely one of these. Let's see how the left shoulder pad is supposed to be sitting on his shoulder. Going to glue it. This is how it looks. Very nice. Now to the right shoulder pad. The kit offers us a bunch of right shoulder pads out of kind of these options and these options. However, our shoulder pad is supposed to reflect the chapter of origin, and in this case, since we have a fancy helmet, which looks like ultramarine to me, we'll have to use the Deathwatch Veterans kit again. This one. Because in this kit, there are a bunch of shoulder pads, and I think we're gonna go for the Ultramarines one. This one, number 82. Ultramarine shoulder pads is supposed to be sitting on the right shoulder. And I am going to glue it now. Here we go. This is our Deathwatch Veteran Sergeant, Vanguard Veteran Sergeant so far. Let's check now. We have assembled the torso, both weapons, shoulder pads, heads, and we even have a jump pack. Let's attach the jump pack next. The jump pack is supposed to be assembled like this. In our case, this is the only bit that might require partial assembly, because it covers a bunch of parts of miniature from the back. In my case, I don't care that much. I'm just gonna glue it directly. I'm gonna be putting glue here and a little bit over here. This kit is very smart because you can regulate, since this is an oval-shaped hole and this is a round pin, you can regulate where exactly your jump pack is. And in my case, this is the very bottom. The round part is at the very bottom of the oval-shaped key in the jump pack. And now we need to put our lads on a base. We have these bases. I'm pretty confident these are 32mm bases. I'm gonna use one of them. I'm gonna glue this tactical rock because this is the only part that is touching the base, and I am going to drop this lad on the base. Since this miniature has a very dynamic pose, he rushes forward on his jump pack. You might want to place the right foot as close to the back of the base as possible. As you can see, I tried several options here, and the furthest to the back was the only one that worked. Moreover, this way, his head is roughly in the middle of the base. And that is what we are usually trying to achieve. And here we have it, my friends. This is our Deathwatch Vanguard Veteran Sergeant. A really cool miniature with a jump pack. I really love the old jump packs. They look incredibly cool. They're very bulky. And you can say that this is a serious kind of thing. This mini looks somewhat similar to the one that we are supposed to assemble. But at the same time, it looks very different. And I think it looks even more dynamic than on this image over here. Our lad is wielding Xenophase Blade in his left arm and a bolt pistol in his right arm. We used a bunch of cool bits in this miniature. The only thing that was from this Deathwatch Vanguard Veterans kit was legs, the torso, and the jump pack. Both arms, the weapons, and the head, and the shoulder pads are from different kits, other kits. And I think this mini turned out to be incredibly cool. A little bit of kit bashing is always nice. It took me roughly 50 minutes to assemble this mini, partly because I had to figure out which parts I want to use instead of the ones in the Vanguard Veterans kit. Let's compare this mini to some other miniatures. First, we're gonna compare this lad to a Deathwatch Veteran Sergeant, an old one from another kit. You can see that they are of the same size and they have very similar kind of weaponry, thanks to our kit bashing. They look very organic together. In the case of Deathwatch Veteran Sergeant on the right, I used less custom stuff. That is why I think the one on the left looks a bit cooler, especially because of the jump packs. This is another old-style miniature. This is a Firstborn miniature, and this is Captain Artemis, Deathwatch Captain Artemis. He wields a combi flamer and a relic sword. He has way more details than normal Deathwatch Veteran or Deathwatch Sergeant, but that is because he is a captain. He is supposed to look way cooler. At the same time, you can see that they look of exactly the same size, because both of them are Firstborn Space Marines. I'm pretty sure we're gonna build Captain Artemis a bit later on this channel. I think I have another kit of him. And of course, we would like to compare these kits with a Primaris Space Marine. I have a Primaris Deathwatch miniature over here from Discontinued Combat Patrol Deathwatch. You can see that they are of a similar size, but Primaris is definitely taller than the lad that we built today. And I have another one of these Primaris Space Marines just for comparison. This is the second lad that I have, and this lad has Black Templar's shoulder pad, which was also borrowed from Deathwatch Veterans kit. The Primaris Space Marines are definitely slightly taller, but on the battlefield it's not gonna be that noticeable, because if you look at the jump pack, they're of a very similar size in profile. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, if you like this build, if you like the end result, if it is better or worse from the one that was on the box. This is the one. Let me know if you possess any Deathwatch Vanguard Veterans. If you feel them, which roles do you use? Let me know. If you like this video and if you want to see more of these kind of videos, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, it will really help me to move forward, and I will see you guys in the next video. Max is out, take care, bye!